Our 1996 robotics Workcell. It's going to produce caramel apples and candy apples. I'm Joe Katakowski.
I'm Aaron Humphrey.
I'm Zach Price.
And I'm Greg Russell.
You make your selection of either caramel with nuts, or candy. You have a cycle stop here, an emergency stop here. The cycle stop will kill the orange light and hit the red light. And the emergency stop will kill the amber light, hit the red light, and the alarm. Then you hit a double operator start to start the cycle.
When the apple touches are pressed, the apple goes to here where the sensor senses that it's there. The robot will come down here, grip it with the vacuum, take it to the apple insertion feeder, and set the apple down right there. After it does that, it'll come back, pick up the stick, set the stick in the apple insertion station. At this time, this cylinder will go down and clamp the apple. This cylinder will extend over here to ensure that the stick will not fly anywhere when inserted into the apple. And this cylinder will insert the stick into the apple. All cylinders will retract, and this cylinder will push the stick up like this to be gripped by the gripper. The robot will then take it to the selected mixture and dip it into it, come up, wait for approximately 10 seconds, go in, get the nuts if selected. It'll get the nuts will fire once, come out, rotate the apple, go in again, flip it, and then it'll come out, come over here to the cooling station. It'll set it down here, come in, it'll fire for 5 seconds, clean the apple, extend, pick the apple up and take it to the conveyor is to exit the work cell. The vacuum gripper will pick up a piece of wax paper, bring it over to here, and set it down here so it has an area so it does not get the plexi dirty when cooling the apple.
Here we'll place the apple onto the apple tray, and then the selection will be made, and the apple touch is pressed twice. The cycle will then begin, the apple moving into the cell on the conveyor and going in between the retroreflective, letting the robot know that the apple is present. The vacuum gripper will grip the apple and take it to the stick insertion station. It will move the apple into the padded section of the stick insertion station, and it will then be gripped by a soft touch cylinder. The soft touch cylinder will now extend. The robot will now approach the stick and grip it. It will now move the stick to the stick insertion station. We'll now place it in the stick's position. It will now be covered by the cylinder, and the soft touch will be extended. The robot will now get a piece of wax paper. The stick is inserted. Wax paper is gripped by the vacuum gripper. The apple is now uncovered. The wax paper is now being placed into the cooling station. The robot will now go pick up the apple with the inserted stick and take it to the selected choice, which is caramel nuts. It will now grip the stick and take it to the pot with caramel. It is now dipping the apple in the caramel.
You have to stop it in here.
The robot will now take the caramel-coated apple to the nut station. It will now do the other side of the apple with nuts. It will now place the coated apple into the cooling station. The robot is now taking the apple into the cooling station. The cylinder will retract and the fans will be turned on. The cylinder will extend and the robot will pick up the finished apple. The robot will then take the finished product back to the conveyor where it will exit the cell. This completes the Workcell cycle.
Going to select candy.
Conveyor will take the apple into the cell. Affected because the retroreflective was not broken by the apple. Robot picks up the apple and will set it into the stick insertion station just as it did with the caramel and nuts apple. We'll now go pick up the stick. And place it into the stick insertion station. The stick is covered and the wax paper is picked up. The stick is also inserted into the apple. Wax paper is picked up and placed into the cooling station, and the apple is also uncovered by the cylinder. The wax paper is placed into the cooling station, and the robot will now pick up the apple with the inserted stick. The robot will now coat the apple with the candy solution. Position, just push the apple deeper into the candy solution. We'll now dip the apple in for another coating. On the bottom of the apple. It will now be transferred to the cooling station onto the wax paper. It will now be taken into the cooling station so the candy coating will be dry. The robot will now pick up the finished product, take it to the conveyor so that it will exit the cell. The finished product is now exiting the cell, and the cycle is complete.